Welcome to the Jenna and Brenda podcast.
Welcome, Jenna.
Welcome, Brenna.
Back. We're here to talk, chat, and finish up the Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, blessed be the fruit.
She came dressed in her homage to the handmaid.
Yes, to the handmaids, to each of them, my favorite ones.
Yeah. Before we get started, what have you been up to lately?
Working very hard in a man's world and enjoying it.
Good. Yeah, work schmirk, dude.
Right?
I think last time we did our video, I was like 2 weeks into this thing, the adenovirus. Have you ever had that?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. And it wasn't like the cold where it like gets in your nose or like, it can present as a bronchitis, but it presented as a pink eye. So I had this like 3-week horrible pink eye, felt like I was exhausted every day, like I'm fighting a flu. It like manifested in my lymph nodes and all of the things. I was just so exhausted. So by the time we did that last recording, I was so over it. I was ready for a vacation, which I took several days to just like die and heal.
I'm so glad you took a vacation.
It was
Sometimes we get sick just to make us take a vacation.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I was pushing through like to get to that vacation at work so that I could take a vacation. Because boy, I 0 out of 10 stars.
Yeah.
It was bad. My daughter lost her voice for like 3 weeks because her and I are the ones that had it. And I've never had a virus quite like that.
Well, you know what? Maybe we did have it go through our house because we were really tired too. Very tired.
Yeah. So I thought it would be interesting because after that made me think about all the self-care things that I don't do all the time. So I made you bring a list.
You did make me bring a list and I have it.
I'm like, I want to know what are you doing to take care of yourself. Self-care items.
Yes, starting with the first one, I will tell you, because I really thought about this. My idea of self-care is a little odd, so we'll go into that a little bit. But the first one on my list is ceremony and routine.
Love it.
So I consider ceremony and routine pretty much the same thing, just one is more of a spiritual aspect to what you do, and one's more of just mundane chores, and I like to marry them together. So for self-care, I make my bed every morning.
Okay.
Or afternoon, it doesn't matter. And I know it sounds like, well, yeah, you make your bed. But the reason it's self-care is it's my thoughts behind it as I'm making my bed. So when I come home and I enter my room after a very hard day, and I have that beautifully made bed that I can just relax on because I know it's like a little hotel, you know what I mean? When you come to a hotel and it's just everything's in its place for you. There's just some sort of peace that comes into my soul. It's like, mama's home.
One of my favorite places in the world, and I actually have to apologize to my bed. Like, I'm sorry, I haven't been there for you. Like, you're always there for me. I just need, we should spend more time together.
Yes.
One of my favorite places in the world to be in and like crawl in bed. Yeah. And just ready for like Mimi's and like, oh, yes.
So I spare no expense when it comes to my bed. I have satin sheets, sometimes silk sheets, depending on, the time of year. And it helps my hair.
I hear that. I hear that the silk is like really gentle on your hair when you're sleeping.
And especially when you have curly hair like mine, the frizz goes down a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so nice. Breakage is less, just having those little things. So ceremony with that. To me, that's a ceremony. In the morning when I wake up, I don't care what's going to happen in the day. I put myself in that mentality of I don't get to go anywhere until my bed's made. And so that'll bug my kids, that'll bug everyone, especially if we're running late. But that's the consistency of that. It does something for me. I have had days where, for whatever reason, there just wasn't enough time. We had to rush. Basically, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be late. I'm leaving in my pajamas.
Yeah, no. I get it. But if it checks the box that makes you feel good and it's taking care of yourself,
yes.
That's what you need.
So it's self-care. It's giving myself peace when I come back from wherever I've been. It's my little area to, I guess it's a way of controlling my environment, right? It's just making sure that I come home to something comforting. No matter what's happening, I have a space that says peace. And it's making my nose itch, so I must have had to tell that story.
So I have a whole lifetime library of self-care, but lately I've been drawing on stretching because I sit down so much for my work every day. I'm like glued to my computer. And oh my gosh, like the illness I think is what kicked it off because I was so sore for so long. and it did feel like I was having that fatigue, that achy body malaise or whatever. I just could not, like my back, my head, everything was so tight. And I was like thinking, okay, I can't even run this off. I can't weight this off. I have to like get back into yoga or something and do the stretching, because that is what is going to like unkink this whole like crampy, achy, awful thing. So I have to stretch at least once a day.
I like that. Stretching is so nice, and it keeps you limber for everything else.
Yes,
so I think that's absolutely a great form of self-care, is stretching. Do you like to stretch when you first wake up? Like, how do you...
So I guess it could be considered ritual in the sense that I have to go to bed like very relaxed, because if I can't sleep well, then it sets everything in motion for the next day to be really cruddy. So I stretch before I go to bed while I'm watching TV, like after all the dishes are done and I'm ready, I'm in my jammies, I'm like ready, I stretch it out so I feel like I can work out whatever's happened from the day and then be ready for like the next one.
I love that a lot. One of the stretching things that I have learned is like opening your lotus flower and closing it at night, right? So in the morning you open it up by stretching your hands open, opening up your energy stream, and then at night you come in and you close. So I love that. That's a beautiful way to take care of yourself. Closing off your energy to everything outside. Nope, bringing it back in.
So, and then I don't know if people do yoga, but if you do, I love the sun salutes. I love them, and I feel like most yoga teachers don't do a whole lot of them. Like some of them do, some of them don't. Maybe because they're easy, or they don't like spend a lot of time in child pose. Maybe because it's not those challenging. But I was like doing
child's pose.
I had this moment where I'm like, why am I not doing it because other people don't do it? Those are my favorites. I'm going to do them.
Do them, girl. Do them.
I was like,
yes, especially if you know how to do them safely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And child's pose is a great way to end your day.
That lower back stretch that you get from child's pose, because that's where I get a lot of tension and I'm like sitting all day. Yeah, so I've been doing yoga for a really long time, so I feel pretty safe doing it. I'm not a teacher or anything, but it feels so good. And then I can do more than just those two. So I'll do those, warrior. What else do I like? I forget the name of it, but it's like the knee stretch, the bend. So like just a lot of leg hamstring stretches and the places that I feel, well, I guess the places that hold the most of your energy, of your weight throughout the day, I focus on those the least.
I think one of the things that's really interesting about boxing, because that's usually my exercise, is just doing the regular boxing routine, is it's a lot of the Kundalini moving energy. You know, you're moving back and forth, you're rocking your hips, you're moving your side, you know, you're protecting your body. It's absolutely combat sports, right? But if you're not sparring and you're just doing the exercises, what you realize is you're awakening your Kundalini, you're moving it around, you're not letting it stay dormant. That's actually why we chose the snake, since we're in the year of the snake.
Year of the snake.
Yeah, I've been wearing a lot of that to remind me that part of it is learning how to be mobile. And so I love how you talk about stretching as a form of self-care, because I don't think people realize how much energy gets stuck.
Oh my gosh.
In your body.
And I felt like a little old lady. I was like, oh, like I could not move and like stand up. My posture was terrible. And and then again, being sick, a lot of that like manifested in this neck area where I already have like a lot of tension. So yeah, something needed to shift with that. So I brought self-care back from the beyond.
I love that.
Because it was not on the list I brought stretching back from the beyond for my self-care, because it wasn't on the list for a really long time.
I'm glad you're going back to it, though. That means that you're listening to your body, and your body's telling you, this is where I want you to be, and you're like, I'm here for it, say less.
Yeah, I think we need to listen to ourselves. I tell my kids that. I tell them to listen to their instincts, like always follow trust their guts.
Oh.
Practice what you preach, mama.
Yes, girl. And that brings me to my second item on the list, which is quiet time. Quiet time. I am getting better at this, I'm going to tell you. Being in a house as full as mine, I have learned that without this little piece, life is harder. Quiet time. It can be 5 minutes on the porch for me, and my porch swing, looking out in that beautiful view in the morning of the sunrise, or at night when it's got awful hot is ended and it's cool in the summer. Or in the winter, it's nice in my room, just quiet. No noise,
Peaceful.
no nothing, just silence and awareness. Quiet time is one of my favorite ways to give myself some self-care. It helps me release the extra thoughts in my mind for the day. The other things that I've been holding on to that aren't mine can be released in that moment of just silence.
So I have a theory on silence. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would love to hear your theory.
This came to me a while ago because the true anarchists, who are when you think of anarchy, you think of chaos, and you think of all this stuff, but I'm like, no, because I'm oppositional, thinking of it backwards. The true anarchists in this world are the peaceful, quiet, like those
She called me
moments
out.
no, for real, because if you think about how much of our human civilization, like in the history of our history, how much of our conflict resolution, day-to-day life, like there's never really not been a war on the planet. Like people just solve their issues through chaos. And somebody who can truly find that peaceful place, be very, very in tune to it, and be okay with it, because silence is really difficult for people, and that quiet is really difficult for some people, especially if you get like traumas and things like that, and there's a loneliness and things that get attached to it. Yeah, being a peaceful, quiet person is the true anarchist of the world.
I feel like it's harder to achieve when you're with someone else. I find the people that I know are good for my soul are people that I can be silent with. I can just be in silence with them. I know their soul and my soul can communicate better that way, when we can just be together. And sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes you'll be with someone and you're like, I have to fill the void. The silence isn't good. I don't like the way that feels. And usually that just means we're not connected or close enough yet.
Or maybe that that connection. I don't know, because even when being with somebody, because I've been with my husband for like 17 years now, when it comes to like problem solving, and if we do get into discord or if we're into fighting and stuff like that, that feels abnormal. Like we're usually a team, like we're usually solving things like peacefully. So it almost becomes that like, we're not in a good place right now. You know what I mean?
I think the safest relationship I've ever had, I wouldn't say the safest, but I would say definitely emotionally, was someone who was very angry at me and would want silence. Would want silence when we were angry together, just to be quiet and just sit there in that silence. It wasn't bad to be in it. It felt good. It felt like right now we are sorting out our own crap, and we will rejoin the conversation once that's done.
What is that called though? That is it starts with a D. Decompressing.
That's what I was going to ask. Decompressing, maybe?
Like I don't know, something with, maybe not the word, I'm not sure, but just so that you're not adding to the chaos and escalating, you're de-escalating.
It's de-escalating.
Just de-escalating. Yeah.
It builds. That silence builds, as it was pointed out to me. And I had never tried that with a person. With myself, sure. That's what quiet does. That's the self-care aspect. But in relationships, it kind of opened my eyes to what feels better. You know what I mean? The loud, the angry, the frustrating, that's when you're busy trying to get your point across. But in the silence, it's almost like, do I want to be here? Yes. So how important is what I want? Like, is it really something I need to discuss? And obviously the way I'm coming at it isn't getting my point across.
Yeah. Motivational interviewing was one of the few places that I could actually put a vocabulary to it, because I don't think that it's common to discuss it in society. But motivational interviewing, there's like a premise that you can't resolve conflict. You can't resolve discord or ambivalence if you're in discord.
Yeah.
You have to be in a place where it's like the the nervous system is de-escalated and regulated in order to have all drives functioning, cognitive, emotional. Yeah, so that I always think about it. If I'm in discord, if I'm in conflict, I'm not in a good place. I mean, it's like we need to come back down. Take a minute.
Yeah, I have a lot of fire in my chart. So, what I've had to learn is that silence is the best way to temper that. Because it's there for a reason. It becomes passion. It becomes creative energy when used correctly. When coming from a space of not feeling seen or heard, I think we all want to go to, you need to hear me, you need to see me. But the truth of the matter is we need to see ourselves. This is a new aha for me, by the way.
Nice aha.
New aha moment for me was, finally getting to a place where I was enough for me. And it was too dang bad if I wasn't enough for someone else. And
I'm like, can we just put like an exclamation mark and like breathe into that for a second?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, what I didn't realize, and I'm actually, I'm putting it in one of my stories on my site about it because it was such a religious experience, in my opinion, of getting through that, of recognizing, hello, McFly, think you are the point. And it was such a shocking moment for me because other people have always been the point for me. And it was like, no, other people have other people. They have themselves. They are their representative. Who's representing you? That needs to be you. You need to be your biggest cheerleader. You need to put that energy you put into those people and showing who they are into the world back into you, girl.
Yes.
Stop letting people think things about you and start just embodying them and being like, you know what? I'm done. You do you. I do me. And we're going to be good. And it feels better.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what they think. I mean, it mattered what you were giving them, but it doesn't matter what they think. Because
Yes.
I mean, maybe other people can speak to this out there, but my energy, I'm tired. I'm tired all the time. Like, I'm so tired all the time that when people are like sucking my energy away like a vampire, I'm like, dude, I cannot. Like, no.
Yes.
And if I don't know, right, then I am like not functional, even with coffee.
Yes. And you know what? That's another thing too, is when we talk about, that's next on my list, is body nurturing, which coffee to me is one of those necessities for me. I love the way it tastes, but it's part of also with number one, the ritual, is when you're taking care of your body, sometimes that's also recognizing that you've been giving too much of your energy out. So it's okay to say no.
No.
No. Like I wanted to hang out with a friend yesterday. That was the plan. And I had nothing to give. Nothing. And I realized, that means when we're together, I'm the giver. So I need to stop that right now and say, I have nothing to give.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have nothing to give. I'm sorry. We can't hang out. And it was a good friend. So they're like, I understand. Totally get it. We will reschedule in a time where you have energy.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be, right? We should have friends that do that. When we're givers, we have a tendency, that's just so you all know, for those who follow it, that's 222 on the clock.
Catherine Manning, sorry, I don't know, she's one of my favorite YouTubers, or I guess now she's switched over to a couple other social media sites, but she's a 222 person.
Oh, she's a 222 person. It's a good time.
I'm a 1234 person, or 123, or 321, 432. No, okay, the clock can only go 321.
Right.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, not 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's mine.
But it could go 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Depending on the date.
Really? Oh, the calendar, yeah.
You always use them all. Well, I believe that synchronicity comes also from numerology. Numerology with spirituality. You mirror them, you just marry them together, and you can actually see what those mean. What it says to me, by your numbers, by the way, is that you're on the right path and everything's in order because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that it always correlates a lot with deja vu. Do you ever get deja vu?
I do.
If I've seen 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm getting a lot of deja vus in that moment. And I always think of deja vus of like, I loved it so much, I have to live it twice.
Yes. That's a great way to look at it, because I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Deja Vu. Mm-mm. Oh, gosh. Put that on your list. Okay. But it's an interesting form of that. But it's some people do believe that the reason we get deja vu is because we had to live it again.
Nice.
and it might have been for an exciting reason, or it might have been, oops, we made a choice we should have made differently. And in those ones, I have a theory, those are the ones where you remember it and you're trying to remember how the sequence of events went, and you can't. I think those are the ones where it's like, nope, you already tried that. Don't remember. Don't even think about it. We're doing it different this time.
Really? Okay.
And so I like that. I like deja vu, and I love that you like numbers too. There's definitely a reason that came up, because that goes up with 4 and 5 are cleansing and removal.
Mm-hmm.
Cleansing and removal, and I believe those numbers are very spiritual. We're talking about deja vu, we're reliving something, right? But we're also cleansing ourselves of something that we shouldn't have had in that moment. That's why we have to relive. Okay. So it could be that you have too many things, such as, for me, it's shoes. I love shoes. I love shoes so much. I like any shoe that is pretty unique. It's not about brand for me. I mean, my sandals now are pretty and sparkly and they have all kinds of rhinestones, but I think I paid $8 for them, you know. But I like shoes. I like them to be pretty. So every once in a while, I have to go through my things and release those. And I like them to be nicer and newer so that whoever gets them next has that, gets to experience them, you know what I mean?
I've been thrifting so much lately. I love it.
So you get it, right? So it goes both ways. My thrifting experience is a little different than what we were discussing with yours. I like to get ridiculous things that I would never wear in public and wear them for a friend to make them laugh when they come over and be goofy. Yeah.
So my daughter is doing the like ridiculous things. I'm like, why are you getting that? She's like, Mom.
She's a Leo.
Yes, she is. And I feel like a lion tamer, but she gets them and she does the most amazing things with it. She should be in there with her scissors and like her little threads. And I'm like, wait, whoa, that's not what, okay, it doesn't look really, really goofy now. Like he did something amazing, but it looks amazing.
Little designer on her hands.
She'll chop up the shirt and she'll mix it with another shirt and then she'll like cut up the shirt. And yeah, she's very talented.
I love that about her. And I love when kids get that from you, first of all. She got it from you. She got that creative energy, and you give her a space where she can use it, even if you don't understand it, which let's point that out for a second, because I think that's an incredible thing a mother can do for her kids. We don't talk about is giving them that space for creativity, giving them that space to create their own self-care. And that sounds like that's one of her self-care moments, is that she gets something and she sees a vision.
Yeah.
And she doesn't let anyone get rid of that vision, you know.
She's pretty headstrong. I really have to like let the lion be free, like let her be a little free-range lion. And if things get really bad, then I have to bring out the lion tamer. But for the most part, I feel bad dampening her spirit because she is such a wild cat.
Leos are hard to tame. We do have to rein them in because I have one at home too. But I think the way you do it is really nice.
Yeah, well,
it allows
disagrees with.
Well, we're not gonna till we're older. Let's just be honest. I was the same way. You couldn't tell me what to do as a kid, but I had great ideas. I learned the hard way sometimes that they weren't the best. But
didn't we all though? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So sorry. My next one on there is spirituality. I have to have my books. I was actually going through all my books today. And
that's
I
on
found,
here too for me.
I found C.S. Lewis' Mere Christianity, and I had a moment because I haven't read that book in like 2 decades. But I remember reading that book and it brought me back. I found it today and I was like, oh my goodness. Like the book and the times I had with this book. Have you ever read Mere Christianity?
It's been a long time.
But the revelations in that book just really made everything about Christianity very experiential to me. And I think that it brought it alive in a way where I kind of, not to get judgy on people, but sometimes I feel like Christianity is like a sarcophagus. And it was like reading that his concepts and like just even like, oh, well, there's mathematically there's no way that there could have been this many people talking about this, like, you know what I mean, like just even the concepts of it, but like it just brought it back so alive to me. And like I always felt like Jesus was like right here hanging out with me, like,
and that's the way
like
it should have felt
on my shoulder. Yes. A little man on my shoulder.
I love that you say that, because when it comes to my faith, you know, I don't let anyone have a conversation with me that doesn't know how much I love Jesus. Like, I love Jesus so much. But I had a divorce from the church, so to speak.
Yeah, sometimes.
Not because at a certain point you have to recognize people are flawed.
Yeah.
We're humans. We are such humans. And if you put a man on a pedestal or a woman pastor and they let you down, you know, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's a huge deal. But unfortunately, what I found for myself is that I was watching my faith get mixed in with those human people, and I didn't like that. And like, my faith for God should not be shaken or worn by the person who chose to use their authority in a wrong way.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like recently, I've been onto the Zohar, which is very interesting about that intercessory. That there's a very well, I think it because it's okay. Let me give you a framework here. It's a 23-volume book set, and I don't understand it all. It's like very confusing. But there's a huge part in it in the beginning of this. I think it's the first book about being very careful of who you have as your intercessory because you do not need an intercessory between you and divinity.
Yes,
Like
I love that.
it's you and you're like you were born before you were born. You were chosen before you were here. You have a connect relationship with divine energy and creation. And if anything, you should be very, very, very careful about who you put in between you and that divinity, because it's like a mother's milk. It's like designed for you.
Yes. I love that you say that, because there are times I'll have talks about spirituality with someone, and they will get very angry and shut down if they don't agree with something. And it's like, well, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not here to change your mind. I was just sharing how I experience the divine and how, I come to be with God. And I think one of the death of spirituality, of people able to reach God in that way, is sometimes, not always, but sometimes really strict religious practice, because they can't see past that. It works for them, so it must be what everyone must practice. And I'm like, if that were true about God, I mean, if you look even in the Bible with the disciples, there would be some problems there,
Well, I don't want to judge how people, like you said, if it works for you, good.
You should stay on that, because that is your path with the divine. I think it's important.
For me, though, it's more of just like a quiet time in the morning, or having a cup of coffee and reading through some of my spiritual books. Like I said, I have a lot of different ones. I have the Bible, I have the Zohar, I have books like from C.S. Lewis, and I love reading that stuff. It's so interesting to me. Yeah.
I love that you love that, because that's how you experience it, and you're devoting your time to it, which goes back to number one, which was, routine and ceremony.
Yeah.
That's a way of having ceremony where you're coming together and doing it your own way.
Yeah.
I do something similar, but mostly throughout the day. I just kind of live life as if God is like literally with me the whole time.
Yep.
Sometimes it's almost like a reality TV show with God, where I'm like, did you see that? Did you see how I handled that? You know, where I'm like, I want that noted. I didn't hit him. I want that noted. Like,
did I score points in heaven?
I'm like, I moved on. I'm growing. I like that, because not everyone can handle a life that way. It has to be tailored very specifically to your walk. And I think it's beautiful when I hear how other people get excited about the spiritual path that they're on and how they do it. And we should be allowed to feel good about that.
Yeah, I love it. I personally feel like it's necessary for my cup of like my what do you call that, the love cup, like filling it up. It has to be part of that. Routine is not on my list though, because I'm probably one of the most, as much of a creature of habit I'm probably one of the least like methodical people I know. There's a method to the There's a method. It doesn't happen. Maybe I'm more of like a universal cycle where it's like every 100 years.
Yeah, and then you change.
I'm working on that weekly cycle.
I'm definitely in tune with nature. So it does go with me. I'm with the seasons. So when it comes to spirituality or anything really, I don't have tact in the summer. I just don't. I rest in the fall, you know what I mean? I rest in the fall, and I really reflect in the winter about what I've had, the opportunities. Did I make the most of them in the summer? Was I the ant or the grasshopper? Which one did I choose this year?
There you go.
You know? And when I'm the ant, am I storing up wisely or in fear? You know what I mean? Did I hoard my resources out of fear, or did I judiciously put this away for this and this away for that and enjoyed my life, and it changes sometimes. But the routine for me comes in, there are 3 things that are unshakable: spirit, your body, spirit, and your mind, right? Those are the things that you have to take care of. So how I take care of those may change. But it is that consistency of remembering, that routine of remembering it must be done every day. Whether I have to stay up late to have that quiet time.
You're more disciplined than I am, but I honor your discipline. I'm inspired by your discipline. I'm like breathing in your discipline and just like trying to get it, rub it off on me.
It's taken some time. I'd say this last year has been the hardest test in discipline for me.
Wow.
Because everything around me is changing. We're in the year of the snake, transformation. Everything is literally shifting. We won't get into it too much, but, astrologically right now, we're experiencing things our lifetime we've never had happen.
Yes, this is true. There's been multiple lifetime events.
Yeah, and everything's shaken up. Things you thought you could depend on are no longer there, and you're having to do things that you never thought you'd have to do. And this is collectively, not just in my life. And so, I try to have a little bit more grace for myself and others when I see them in a space where I'm like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
But again, my give 'em hell attitude in the summer is like, not my problem.
So I live off of grace. I have a little grace in my coffee cup, and I try to give grace to others. I look through the world as like, oh wow, I have survived on grace from others, and above, and I just grace is an essential. I don't know about how I self-care that in, but you just mentioned grace. I'm like, yes, grace.
No,
grace.
but that's part of self-care, right? That's something you make sure.
Yes. Grace.
Sorry, that gave me from Dogma, the buddy Christ, when he's all, that's what that reminded me of. And we already talked about, we kind of went out of order with my list, but it all correlated. I love that we have a lot of the same self-care. The last 2 on my list are funny. Okay, Supernatural, which is a TV show, and acceptance. So going into Supernatural, I bug people to death with my love for Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
I'm still not sure who that is. No offense to him. I'm sure he's a great actor, but she's always sending you. I'm like, who?
Yeah, I am just in love with the show. I'm in love with what they did with it, but more what they did with the characters. Because these are fictional characters. These people do not exist. You know what I mean? Jensen Ackles does exist. So does Jared. But I mean, Sam and Dean, right? They're characters.
No idea who they are.
Right? But I will mention them everywhere, always. I mean, we don't ever let go of those boys in my house.
I have a question, though, about this. Because I remember Supernatural from... actually, maybe I don't remember Supernatural. But when... I'm a child of the 80s, 90s, right? Mm-hmm. So Supernatural, I remember being a teenager, there was a show on called Supernatural. Maybe it was early 20s called Supernatural. And is that the Supernatural you're talking about?
It's the same one.
So you're kind of the, okay, so
it's
we're
been on for 15 years.
Is it still on?
No, it's finally done, but it was on all the way up through the pandemic. This is why, it was it was known as the longest sci-fi show in history to be on TV. 15 years.
So I thought, in my mind, whenever you mention it, I
was living in the 90s.
Kind of those Nick at Night when we were, it's a generational thing, but your parents or your grandparents were watching Nick at Night and the MASH and the I Dream of Genies and stuff like that. And I was like, where's Jenna getting all these, in my mind, I'm like, it's not Nick at Night, it's not MASH or all those things, but you're
watching it from far away.
Generationally.
Well, I will tell you, what I love about it, and this is so true, is if I were my male counterpart would be Dean Winchester. Maybe that's why I'm single, because my love of my life is a fictional character. But no, really though, I find him, just everything about his personality. He's an oldest child. He was given these huge responsibilities to be a parent to his brother. You know what I mean? He didn't get to be a child, but he had to make sure his brother maintained his innocence in a world that was definitely not innocent.
Okay.
And so I relate to that character on that regard because I was the oldest daughter, and I know what it feels like to feel the things that the character Dean feels, and even indulging in your darkness and not caring and looking at people like, hey, You know what I mean? I'm always the good guy. Today I want to be the bad guy.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm always the good guy. Sometimes I want to, and then we go back because we realize no matter how bad we want to be, we have a good heart. So we're never going to be happy being the bad guy. And that's what I love about Dean. He is, whether he refuses to see what a saint he is.
So you can turn that show on and just be like lost in the moment. Your mind's just in. Or
I
your
feel
mind's
seen.
Just in. Oh, okay. So
I
you're
feel
like you're
seen.
absorbing. Your mind is absorbing. You're like.
So it's
cruising.
self-care, yeah. So like when things are rough, let me tell you, Supernatural is not a place you go to get giddy and happy. It's dark, but it's a place I can go where I'm like, you know, the characters, they see me, right? The actors saw me through that character and acted out exactly how I feel in a situation or in the world. And that's why it's a phenomenon. It's why they even have their own cons to this day where people are so excited to just see the characters in Supernatural.
Oh, cool.
And the actors themselves, when you meet them, they have that same passion and love for people's self-love and self-care and getting past that. Jared Padalecki, the one we're talking about, has his own, it's his own nonprofit called Never Stop Fighting. I might even have that wrong. Sorry, Jared. Fangirl moment gone wrong. But it's Never Quit Fighting, Never Stop Fighting. But it's about people who've struggled with depression.
Oh my gosh.
And
okay.
You know,
Love
you
him.
see. Yeah.
Love him.
See? And
Oh
his
my
wife.
gosh.
So unfair, but she's gorgeous, and she's a huge supporter of what he does and the cause he has. And she, you know, that's the thing about these people is they're not just on-screen characters that are great. They're the actors themselves.
Gosh.
Beautiful humans inside and out. And they're married to beautiful humans inside and out. What's not to love?
I was like hanging out. I'm like, never stop what? Never fight. And it's never the fighting for what? And then you said depression. And I'm like, oh, he had me at depression.
Because he cares. You know, he knows what it feels like.
Oh my gosh.
And when he talks to fans, anytime I talk to someone who's ever been to a con and has told them, I got through this because of you, they will take the time to just sit with them and say, you did the work. Everyone from those two main characters to even the people that play the bad guys, like Mark Shepard. Oh, he is an incredible human who plays Crowley, the king of hell of all things. And, you know, these people genuinely care about their fans.
Oh,
Even years now that it's over.
I love it.
So, yeah, that's part of my self-care is to let myself get lost in that world and recognize that life's not all that serious. It really isn't. You can have fun. I mean, Dean has the most heartbreaking storyline of everyone, and he is a goof who shares my love for burgers and pie. And so, you know, like we'd be the best married couple if he was a real thing
gosh,
because
I
I
love
would
it.
make him pie all day long. So
Yeah.
I'm probably
eat
not the
the
only
pie,
female that
but-
thinks that. You don't like pie?
I love pie. No, I eat the pie.
Scared me.
I love
Oh.
baking. I love baking. The problem is and this is where I struggle. Is it self-care or is it just emotional eating? Because I'm depressed. I've been depressed my entire life. It's been a thing. And a lot of the medicine that I use for that has been chocolate. Yeah.
Yes.
And I love pie.
I love it too. I love all of it. Apple's clearly my favorite. I love apple pie, but peach pie is a great 2nd. They're just comforting,
Cupcakes,
right?
cookies,
Oh yeah,
pie,
don't even get me
cake.
started. Like I went
lot of
through
it.
when my brother died, I went through this serious time where all I wanted was to eat cake. I just wanted chocolate cake all the time, and I had no idea how much I wanted cake until my daughter goes, "Are you okay, Mom?" And I was like, "Wow, what's this?" I feel, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, "No, you're not acting different. I just noticed that you ate a whole cake by yourself."
Yeah.
And I'm all,
that's the thing. So, yes. Is it a good thing, though? I don't know. Because
No.
I love cake, and I'm depressed. And a part of my self-care is having a healthy diet and trying to be, like, on top of things. But also, like, I'm going to eat this cake, and you can judge me.
Yes.
But it's going to get eaten, and
Well,
I'm going to be happy.
Yes, my son's favorite song is "I'm gonna bake a cake and eat the whole damn thing." You know? He loves that song because of the cake part, right? But it's true. Sometimes that is self-care, is being okay and indulging and recognizing and being able to pull yourself back from the indulging part. So the minute my daughter was like, you ate that whole cake by yourself, no judgment here, but that's not normal. Are you okay? I'm not used to you doing that. And it brought me to a place where I'm like, you know what? I am sad. So because I ate this whole cake, I'm going to go outside and work out for a little bit and get out some of that sadness. But I wasn't, I didn't beat myself up for eating the cake. I just realized the next step to getting rid of that sadness was now movement.
Yeah. Yeah,
I took what was within, right? I took care of what was within. Now let's take care of what's outside.
There has to be balance. Yes.
Yes.
It's a chocolate.
Item number 10, last one on my list, is acceptance. And this one is very important because I think if we don't practice this every day, what's the point of anything else we do? And that is accepting where I am, when I'm there, and being okay with that for the moment. So a good example of this would be, say I go to the grocery store and I bought all my groceries and then I go look at my budget and I'm like, oh man, guess I'm not going out to buy new shoes this week, you know what I mean? But my household is fed. My bills are paid. That is acceptance of my situation. I have what I need. I accept that I don't need a new pair of shoes. And that's very superficial about the type of acceptance I'm talking about, but I think it is something we can all at least resonate with, right? Is accepting when where we're at is enough for where we're at for now. Not forever, but for today, this is enough. And it's okay. Mm-hmm. And I think acceptance also of, I love you, but you do not love me. I accept that that is a thing, so I let you go. That is me giving you love. That is me loving you unconditionally. In friendships, in business partnerships, it's more of a, I want to do business with you, but you don't want to do business with me. Yeah. Yeah. It's accepting where someone else is at and not trying to force what you want just because it's what you want.
No force, boo. Yeah. No, radical acceptance. It's actually a huge step in DBT therapy, radical acceptance.
See, I learn all these things from her. She tells me what I'm doing.
DBT therapy. And it's just because we get so bound to what the outcome is, right? Mm-hmm. We want this, and this is what is, work so hard for this, work so hard for that, or, because I did this, I deserve that. Radically accepting that sometimes these outcomes are not always what we want, expect, or even the situation before we start in an outcome, we don't have the materials we need to get started. Like, this isn't how we would want to, approach things. So radical acceptance in that sense is just like, nothing I can do about it. Absolutely nothing. I'm just going to accept it. And then from there, it gives you the, space to breathe and, move forward. Mm-hmm.
And it's so good to do for yourself. It really isn't for anyone else. It's for you, because you're the one that has to recognize what you can control, what you cannot, and accepting where you're at in a moment can be hard, especially if your goals are so big. Look at our podcast, for instance. When we started, we had a very different setup. We had a different schedule, and we had to accept, okay, life's, and we're gonna have to make time and space for this.
Yeah.
And it's been a beautiful journey. I was thinking about that on my way here, is how just the topics we hit are very intense, and I love it.
Oh my gosh, it's a lot. For me, I'm comfortable in that space, but I've learned that not a lot of people are comfortable with this emotional vocabulary in my own relationship. My husband has been going through some things, and I'm just like, let's talk about it. He's like, let's not. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but can you blame me? I hear you.
No. But you have to give people space to in their own time, right? But I'm just like, I'm ready for the weird conversations, the uncomfortable conversations. And actually lately, so this is a self-care item that I've been leaning into, is just being not in that space, because I realize it leaves me very vulnerable. And one of the biggest reasons why I need self-care right now is how tired I am. I'm tired all the time. I get sick very easily. I'm just exhausted. I mean, when people say, oh, I've worked all day, I'm exhausted. Imagine, I don't know how many seconds are in the day, but break it down every second of the day feeling that way. And that's how I feel. I drag myself through the day. So I'm realizing like maybe, just being like emotionally open and like ready for that hard stuff all the time is just a little too much, and it's
Sometimes you have to be able to close that too. Wow,
Yeah.
that's powerful. That's what I mean. These are some powerful conversations we're having. It's raw, it's authentic, and it's something I think people deserve to have more around them, and it takes a certain amount of bravery to admit it, and I'm really proud of you.
oh my gosh. But you know what though? I love peopling, but I realize that I have to be on for people. So my self-care, I think you said a lot of them, so I'll just say the ones that you didn't say. Is it like just total flat line, like I don't care what you need from me. I am like this horizontal and I'm not getting up. I'm like, go do it yourself. I'm taking a nap.
Boundaries.
I'm not doing anything. Like these people that go throughout the day, even just watching them, I'm like, you're making me tired. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I feel as somebody who's not able to do that, self-conscious about that. So I force myself to do that. And I'm not going to do it. It's not for me. I'm not. Nope.
So I could learn from you on that because I don't even think about it sometimes. And I had a spiritualist who was doing work on me once tell me, how do you exercise? And I was like, oh, I'll spend 4 hours at the gym and I'll just be on that treadmill. And she goes, what are you thinking about? And I'm all, nothing. I just let my body go. My mind just goes elsewhere. She's like, she started snickering. And then she started giggling. And then she went in full on laughter. And I'm like looking up at her like, excuse me. And she's like, no, I don't mean to laugh at you. It's just I have this vision of you like a hamster on a wheel, just constantly going all the time.
Oh, even the gym. Oh my gosh, this is that is the mental image when I think of the gym. I'm like, ew, I don't want to go. So that's why I've always liked yoga, and then that yeah. Anyhow, go ahead.
No, but you're right. Like that, being able to say, no, this is my boundary. I want to go home. I'm not going to be available for you. I'm available for me. I'm learning that even when it comes to setting time constraints for myself, where I have to say, hey, I got up late. I need to do some dishes before I head over. I will text you when I'm on my way. That's hard.
But
that's a firm boundary.
Most of the time, people are cool with it. Or
Yes.
like if you're not like setting that boundary, they're just gonna expect things from you. But if you're not the one that's like, hey, I need to do these dishes, 99% of the time, the other person's like, cool, whenever you can.
Yes.
It's us that holds ourselves to these unreasonable expectations. So it goes back to that thing I was saying about doing the yoga. Like I like the sun salutes. I like child pose. I'm going to do those things.
Yes.
And I personally like doing nothing. Doing nothing to me is recharging my batteries. If I'm not doing nothing, people think, oh, you're not being productive. I'm like, actually, I'm being the most productive for myself right now because I'm on the charger. Leave me alone.
Yes, and so for me, doing nothing is doing something. So I would like to learn how to do nothing. But for me, it's been like when I'm really stressed, what brings me stress relief at the moment is picking weeds outside. And I mentally connect those to people and things that I don't want in my life anymore. And I just
spray vinegar on them.
like, I'm getting rid of you. I'm getting rid of you. I'm getting rid of this anger, this
you with
stress.
the thorns, you need to go.
Yes. And then afterwards, I have this beautiful area that has no weeds. And it's very rare because weeds grow like crazy around my house. I can't tell you. I can't keep up with them. I even hired goats. And to come eat them. I did. I hired goats.
Nice.
And they still just...
I have a great organic recipe for weeds. I will give it to you. It works better than the store
Ask and you will receive.
It's amazing, and it really does clear them out, and it takes very little work. And then you spray them, and then they shrivel up down into nothing, and then you take them they just pop right out of the ground. You don't even have to worry about because where we're at the weeds. Talk about Game of Thrones, or the Game of Thorns. Oh my gosh,
Game of Thorns. You don't know which ones you're pulling out where you're gonna have 15 little stickers in your arm.
Oh my gosh, that's a tumbleweed goes by.
But I like the idea of nothingness.
Well, see, that's the thing. People misconceive that people who do nothing are not
Productive.
But the thing is that I personally will work until every single thing that I need to do is done, so that I can do nothing. I have the to-do list, and if it's not complete and checked off and everything's cleared, I actually start getting anxiety. Like I can't do nothing soon. I can't do nothing. Like
I love
need to,
this.
move these tasks off my list so that I can do nothing.
I love task lists. Okay, I'm a nerd. I like to say I did that, done, and it makes me feel complete. But on that list for myself better be stillness, which is what we had in there earlier with quietness, quiet time, where I try to fill that void with nothing. But it's not your nothingness, it's just quiet. So if I could imagine one day mirroring what you do with nothingness with my quietness,
Oh my gosh.
imagine. Ooh.
And I think honestly, you had like all the rest of them were like very similar. The only other one that I would say, or there's two, but the one I would say is I have a face care routine that I do every night where I have to wash my face a certain way. I have to use a certain kind of cloth.
Ooh.
I have to put on my jammies. If I'm like, it depends. I'm like an evening shower, so I like to shower before I go to bed, stretch. Like it's a whole thing. I have to enter the dream world like purified.
That's
like the
a
vibe.
beautiful ritual to
Yeah.
have. So that
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
with number one too, with ritual. Your face becomes ceremony, that self-care. It's like you saying, I deserve to be at peace when
Like
I enter.
wash off your day, enter the dream world of like where you get your little connection to like the beyond, and then like bringing things back or taking things beyond, and then coming back to the next day like just ready and like fresh.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Sleep. Actual sleep is part of that, you know. I think we get that. We don't get enough of that
Yeah.
in society
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh my gosh, sleep. Oh, again, if you're sleeping, if you're peaceful, if you're quiet, you're an anarchist in my book.
Yes, you are. I will tell you, in June, I just did nothing for a lot of people. Like I said, nope, I'm done. I need to give back to myself in June. And I'm so glad I did because, with my kids and their routine and everything that they go through, they need me on my game. And I've learned new ways to do things. I've learned to say, well, I don't know how that's going to work, so we're going to have to figure something out.
Yeah, and if you're out there struggling on the fence with that, I'm giving you permission right now to do that. And like
Do
not
nothing.
necessarily be like selfish about it. There's always a balance because if you're a giver and you're a nurturer, you have to figure out a way to like give back to yourself so you can give to people. But yeah, if you're struggling, you have permission to do nothing and just love yourself first, take care of yourself first, and it's like the airplane. Put your little mask on first and then help somebody else.
Last year for my birthday, I had a very powerful priestess, read for me, and that was her advice for this year was you need to start taking care of yourself. She's all, I think you're a great mom, but the one thing I see in you that I don't like is that you make sure everyone else around you has before you do, and that is going to kill you.
That's such a mom thing though.
It is. I'm working on it. I will not tell you I've perfected it. I'm not there yet, but my kids are kind of pushing me that way. They're all, Mom, we're growing up. We don't need you to do half those things anymore. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I'm reaching the stage of motherhood where my youngest is still needing my attention, but my oldest ones are trying to push me into, I'm already independent, but that's not the right word for it. There's got to be another word for us mothers because I'm independent, but I feel that my duty and my job and the entire reason I've been alive for the last 21 years has been for them. And they're preparing me for a life where it's about me.
So patience there,
Yeah.
but like, so one of my friends, somebody called her this, but I thought it was the most on point word for a mother, but effulgent.
Ooh.
Where you're just like glowing. You have like the radiance from divinity, the creation. You're the creator. Like literally, life like came from you. The nurturer, the healer, the like provider. Because even if you're not like the financial provider, you are still providing quite a bit, and if not more sometimes. So like effulgent.
Yes.
Like, boom. Like see me radiate. But you can't radiate, right? You can't radiate unless you're taken care of.
Yes. I actually had a moment with a gentleman in a coffee shop where I was very nervous about a work thing, and I was, how the outcome, attached to the outcome of the situation. And I think he saw that in me, and he said, relax, You already won at life. You are a mother. You've raised your kids. Everything else is extra. You're just here to see what else you can do.
Yeah.
And I just looking at him, that peace that came over me was like, oh, I did already raise my kids. This is extra. This is the fun part. I get to actually see what else I can do. It changed my thinking. And so that's where I'm at right now. I think this is how I choose to end this chapter, this decade of my life before starting the next one next year. I'm choosing to end it with acceptance. That's why it was the last one on my list, of the fact that I did a good job, faithful servant, right? Good job, faithful servant. Now it's time for you to explore a new part of life that I have no control over. It's so new, and I'm here for the ride, and I don't know how to surrender that deep, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, just go with it. Just go with it. Just let it go.
Just let it happen. I did things the right way, right? Because what's really the right way? And now I get to experience a world that is new. It's exciting, scary, but I'm meeting so many cool people along the way.
So the last thing on my list, I feel like goes with that a little bit, but also goes with like the Handmaid's Tale topic. But it's watching movies.
Oh, yes.
Funny story. One time when I was a little kid, I grew up in poverty. So I would go visit my aunt and uncle, and they were like living in another state. In their basement, they have me all set up in their little guest area. And it's also like / their like family room. Every single Disney movie that had ever been created was like on their shelf, old school VHS. But I was like, I just came alive. And they're like, don't you want to go see this? Don't you want to go see that? Because I'm like over there like binge watching every single Disney movie. And I'm like, no, I'm a little poor kid who's like seen the trailers for these movies. I've like really fallen in love with that character from afar. Never seen any of these. I'm where I want to be. Please leave me alone.
I remember that.
So yeah, I love movies and being pulled into the story and pulled into the like whatever it is going on, and I love it. People would call me on a Friday like, hey, let's go out. And I'm like, no, I just went to Blockbuster. I'm good.
Oh, man, I remember those days. For me, it was the other place that had the books, too. Hastings.
Yes,
oh, my gosh.
Okay.
Get like 15 movies and pizza. Pizza was important.
Yep.
And just sit there and binge movies.
Oh, my gosh. Those video stores were like a vibe. Like, you can go there for like, it was like a thing to do. There was no streaming.
Yeah, and no, there was none. That was how we binged movies back then, before that was cool to binge.
That was what was so captivating about The Handmaid's Tale. So finally getting to the end, oh my gosh.
Yes.
We got there. I'm divided. I love it. I love the whole story. The whole story was great. I'm divided on the end. It was more cerebral for me. When you go through this whole story, which is like an emotional roller coaster, makes you feel like you're going to like, I don't know, like barf or like pee your pants or something like halfway through. And some of these parts were so tense and you're like, oh my God. But then the ending, it was almost like that Game of Thrones bran muffin kind of like thing that happened.
Yeah, where you're like, wait a minute.
I have so many questions. Wait, what just happened? A little better than that though. I would say I would not rate it as a Game of Thrones ending at all. It was definitely good. Nick and the Lawrence and all of them like getting on that plane and like, floating in front of her. I was like, wow, that's amazing. But it did not resolve. It did not resolve the conflict that it had throughout the whole series. Like, what happened to Hannah? What happened to Hannah? We just gave up on Hannah? Oh, no, we had a conversation at the end that we're going to just keep going for Hannah. And, sorry. Did we not like go in like season 3 or season 4? I forget exactly which one it was, where we were in DC where they were like putting metal bars or metal loops in their handmaids' mouths, where those guys were way more ruthless than these little toads that she was dealing with. Like, she had them all in the palm of her hand and she just exploded them in the sky. That did not resolve the psychos in DC.
So the moment Serena says they're just gonna send more, it made me realize, she's like, my husband's a good man. So for those who have not seen it, spoiler alert.
Yes, big spoiler alert.
Because we're just going to say it. So Serena marries probably the most holy man in Gilead. Let's just be real. And you know, he honors her as a wife. Like, this is a hard storyline for me to see them. This is hard for me because I feel like Serena's second husband is exactly what the hope of Gilead that made it so terrible is about. Is this man is everything she ever wanted. This is what she wanted Fred to be. He genuinely sees her as a human being with feelings. He loves her. He wants to honor her in the biblical way a man should honor a wife. And yet he's still wrong because he's in Gilead. He has a handmaid there on their wedding night.
But she's like everybody's telling her, like, well, are you sure you want to do this? You have your freedom now. Like, this is like, you know, your child. You kind of already have all of your dreams, like, come true. Do you really, truly need to marry this man in order to, like, become effulgent? And she does it anyways, right? And so, and I was kind of, like, happy a little bit about that because I was like, you know what? She deserves what she gets.
Fair.
So in the end, but then she didn't get what she deserved. She basically was like, oh, you want to treat me like I've treated all these people all this time? I'm not going to have it. And I'm like, but that's what you deserve. But that's what you deserve.
I think there's this moment with June right beforehand with Serena, because Serena's all she wants is for June to forgive her for what she did to June. She really hates what she's done. And June's sitting with her and she goes, you're going to marry this guy. And she goes, he's nothing like Fred. And June says the phrase that as a woman I've heard in toxic relationships so many times from my good meaning friends, where she says, was Fred like Fred in the beginning?
Yeah.
And it's such a hard hitting moment where Serena is given this truth, right? Where it's in her face. You have everything. Why are you going to go back into slavery? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, her indoctrination makes it impossible for her to change this. And I actually, while you were watching the ending, went back to watch the beginning, just to kind of get some more context with the characters. And what I recognize with Serena is you see her in the beginning really fighting for her moralistic views of things, trying to save the world because birth rates are dropping, and that she really wants to build a better future. So in that, evil men take her idea and they turn it into a prison for women, and she's just too damn stubborn to recognize that she messed up and she gave it to the wrong people. And rather than aborting and abandoning that idealistic view she had and accepting that's not what came out of it, she tries to go back. She tries so hard to have a different version of it. She's still trying to create the world she wanted with evil men, and that'll never happen.
Oh, okay, but the thing like that made the whole ending amazing was the moment where like they're all up there on the like gallows or whatever. They're all gonna get hanged, and then they bring up Aunt Lydia, and everybody gets a chance to like say their last, and she's like, "I'm sorry that these women like were put into the hands of immoral men," or like however she said it.
Men. Oh, you got me so chills.
Oh my gosh. I was like,
yes. So let's go back to that.
That was amazing.
So we're talking about Serena's end, right? And we're saying Serena's ending doesn't really fit, but it kind of does. Mm-hmm. So finishing her up real quick, I will say I loved that she said to June, in the end, she tells her, "I'm sorry," and June forgives her finally. Mm-hmm. But she's left without a husband. Serena's left to raise her child on her own. She is not welcome anywhere, and she has no idea how she's going to make it. It is a morally just ending for her. I feel she gets exactly what she deserves. No husband, having to raise a child on her own, and having to face all the things she found disgusting and immoral about society. She now has to live like everything she judged. And that, to me, is a very interesting, fantastic, ironic way for her story to play out. She's alive, she's fine, but she has nothing and no one.
But is it, I think it's just me and like the kind of maybe missing some of those really like thrilling moments where you're like, shouldn't she have been up there with everybody on the gallows? Like, shouldn't she have been there? Like, I think you just wanted that, the like really primal part of my character. I was like, oh, Wouldn't that be great?
I loved having Lydia on there. So going back to what
that
you were
was
talking about,
amazing.
Lydia.
Oh, that was so good. It was so
Lydia's story, as we know, is she is this very religious woman who was alone for a long time, gives into lust once,
Yeah.
feels very ashamed about it, and becomes a religious, corrupt Pharisee. If you're a Christian, you know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, she's just pious and angry. And she allows herself to be hardened through Gilead and almost cruel.
Oh, very cruel.
But she believes in what she's doing.
Like,
She
very cruel.
genuinely believes in it until her heart is changed by one handmaid.
And we
And
love
that's
Janine.
Janine.
We
Oh,
love her,
yes, Janine. Because Janine is everything she needs these girls to be. She's wily and strong, but as soon as she punishes her, she's compliant. And she sees how that doesn't save Janine. Janine does all the right things. She starts doing all the right things, and her life gets worse and worse and worse. And it opens Aunt Lydia's eyes. They call her Aunt, right?
Yeah.
It opens Lydia's eyes to where she's starting to see that these women are treated cruelly. She's also seeing that handmaids are raped, and it's sent. And she doesn't see the ceremony that they're in as rape. So she sees these women who are under her protection being taken advantage of against the law.
Yeah.
And these men are getting away with it.
And they're all like the higher up of society. So I think the veil of hypocrisy is like lifted, or the veil of piousness,
Yeah.
and so is lifted, so she can see the hypocrisy of it all. Because like, how could you have this infrastructure that's built, allegedly built on this, but in actuality, it's just built on people being two-faced.
Yes. So she sees these women she's seeing the hypocrisy, yes. But when she finally has enough, she gets put on the gallows with the rest of them, and they tell her to pray before they kill her. And to hear her change
I know.
her
Oh,
prayer
my God.
to
the
forgive
greatest.
these women, for they have been slaves of godless men, and her anger and her fury. And the one time in history where I fall in love with June, because I really don't like June as a character. I don't
honestly,
like her.
I didn't find redemption for June or Selena's character. I found both of those arcs, the ending of those arcs, quite disappointing for both of them.
Yeah, we'll get into her last, but for this moment, for her, I will say this about June, is this moment where she says, "Don't let the bastards grind you down." And they hoist her into the air, and she is being choked, and Luke is watching her. Luke and June, we're going to talk about that for a second. But the way he doesn't try to save her, I don't know if anyone picks up on that. But he's there for the revolution. I think he's done with June at this point.
Yeah, I think so too, because he has that moment of like, you don't think I've seen it? Like, just don't love a Nazi. Like, that would fix the situation.
Oh, goodness, June. I think I don't like her because I understand that on a level I don't want to get into here. But her love for Nick just ruined her life. It ruined everything she had beforehand that she was able to have back. She could not move forward. Her love for him blinded her. And him too, goodness. But the way she treated her husband.
Yeah.
I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this as a woman. I have a problem with this as a viewer. People want us to see that they just kind of went their separate ways. And I feel I don't have satisfaction with their ending.
No, but I was thinking about this. This is up for debate for like the rest, or it should be in colleges and like circles, people watching it, bringing it back off the shelves for like future generations when they're able to. But like, I watched the end of it and I'm like, wow, this story is like an Orwell. Orwell with the 1984 and the like Animal Farm and all of that stuff. This is like an Orwell. Margaret Atwood in her writing should be studied at that level of like, what is she depicting here? Because the loss of rights, the constant battle, Sorry, segue. How cool was it the like Mr. America Michael guy? Is that his name? Michael, the character, like the
Was a commander at the end?
No,
Oh.
he comes in like Captain America, all in his like tack and his like Velcro, and he's like ready to take America back, and I'm like, oh, how cool is America?
Isn't it America?
America,
Yes.
yeah. And he's all like ready to like come in and save all the ladies. I was like, yes.
My favorite part about his appearance later is whenever June's talking to him and he goes, actually, it's Commander.
Oh, I didn't catch that part. He was like, okay, he's a commander now. Oh.
He's always been a commander, but he kept that quiet out of respect for her. Like, you think about the power this man had and the way he didn't shrink down, but he didn't use it with these women. He allowed them to feel powerful again. He shared that power. He was the depiction of a perfect man, and Serena didn't even get him.
I know, and he was kind of like, he was putting out the feelers there for a moment, and she was just like to me, I'm like, oh, girl, like, what's wrong with your radar? Like, that's the one.
Yes. What is the wrong with her radar?
I know, and he comes in all like ready to like represent freedom.
Yes, he's like, I'm gonna make you feel like a woman, and I'm gonna be a man, and I don't have to take anything away from you to make that happen. That's what I saw with him.
I just saw Captain America like stars in my eyes. I was like, okay, hello, Mr. Michael.
There is something about a soldier boy. Let's not pretend.
He did it really well. Like in the end, the way they have his like character like rise into like this hero kind of guy. Yeah, totally good.
Well, take a look at that for a second, because it says something about women and masculinity, right? And our attraction to it and what it really looks like. Because we have these commanders that are demanding these women see them as this exalted man. But who are we fangirling over right now?
No, like through total control and like manipulation and power grab, right? But this guy who's like, I'm just going to come in and be like, boom. I don't know if I was like, okay, he's a very handsome, like attractive guy, but I don't know if I was lusting for him. I was just like, how cool is that? Like they're making him like Mr. Captain America, like, you know they did that. And
I'm attracted to the masculinity, the true divine masculine is depicted in that man.
That character, they did that exactly. Whatever that like.
If you watch him throughout the series, the way he treats the women, the way he approaches things,
respectful yet strong. Like you don't need to like.
You want to submit to a man like that. That is a man where you're just
he's
like...
He's not forcing it on you. He's like not being... Like he's being respectful about... He knows he's powerful. There's no need to like make somebody else small to like exude his power.
So he's an example of what... If Gilead, right, had been in Serena's mind from the beginning, that man is exactly the kind of man she wanted leading. I would even dare say... that he was the point of showing us what a man really looks like in comparison to these fake commanders, right? These commanders who are like, I will make women do what I say and that makes me powerful. Whereas he was wise enough to recognize women had power too. And that is shown with one of the aunts that is a CIA operative that's been working there the whole time. And he's like, she had great training. She was smart. She was the best person to go in there for the job. He gave her that respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's like, it's not him himself. Yes, he was attractive, but I think the thing that gets the heart fluttering and the hair twirling is the fact that, you know, that's what a man to me looks like. The Dean Winchesters, like we were talking about with Supernatural. It's a man that has natural power, that natural pull that is willing to surrender that, recognizing yours.
What is that though? Because for his character, it was very small actually in the very like end of the season. He didn't take up a whole lot of screen time, but it was so significant because I was like taken back by the representation of America and like maybe losing it because you're like that, you know, like we lost it because these people had the force and the strategy or whatever to like overtake, but this like patient, strong, calculated, thoughtful, respectful, whatever you call it, but it was like the resurrection of like everything America, well, at least from what I think of, like, don't love a Nazi. Like,
Right? Oh my God, don't love a Nazi.
Right? Like, if you think of America, like, we are like anti that, right? We're like,
good advice.
we're freedom, we're respect, we're like strength we're dominant without having to be like, we don't have to do much to be like dominant in the world. We're just dominant. Or at least that's how I see it. People might, and it's probably debatable, and you can go into a lot of different conversations and angles on that. But that's just like, in a nutshell, what I felt he represented in that moment, like the resurrection of all that.
Yes, and taking it back to a comment you made about Game of Thrones, I love this quote where Tywin Lannister says to, who is a hand of the king, he says, any man who screams that he is the king is no king at all. And so that, I feel like that is embodied in this character, right?
Yeah.
Because he has all this power. He has his own story of grief. His son's living in Hawaii with the mother who no longer wants him because he's chosen to sacrifice this so that others can have their families.
Sacrifice, there you go.
Oh,
like
the sacrifice. Oh,
yes, I think of that so
look,
much
I'm getting
in,
the
like,
vapors.
I think of that as part of like American like identity, sacrifice, not necessarily like I wouldn't his form of sacrifice, just doing things selflessly and doing things for the greater good of humanity.
I think you can judge a man's character by how the woman with him feels. If a woman is in her masculine energy, I mean, I've been compared to by men, actually called a micro dude, because they felt I was so masculine in nature.
So I did my chart. Actually, the other day I was bored. I was in my, like, I'm not doing anything except for the things I want to do. I pulled my birth chart. I'm actually very masculine.
How many planets do you have, if you don't mind sharing?
4, and I have 2 feminine. Or maybe it's like 3 and 2 or something like that.
I was going to say, it's probably more like 4 and 6.
4 and 6. Okay, I don't know. Well,
yeah. 4
I have
planets.
it on my phone somewhere. I saved it.
I'm like you. I have 4 masculine planets, 6 feminine.
No. It's opposite. Like, I'm more masculine than I am feminine.
Okay. So you're probably like 6 and 4.
Yeah. Okay. Probably that.
Yeah.
But yeah, more masculine. And then I was like, dude, I'm a dude. Like, I'm a total. This is probably why I need like a Michael character and my husband. And maybe I like that character because he reminded me of my husband.
Yes,
I'm like,
probably.
okay, I need this guy that's gonna like let me be like, kind of like, hey.
Yes.
I'm gonna redecorate the bathroom. I'm gonna tear up all the tile and redo that. Like,
And it's funny because I have more feminine planets, but I am here to learn how to be in my feminine energy, to be soft, because I don't know how. I'm gonna tell you. It's very rare. Someone has to point it out to me that I'm in my soft feminine.
Okay.
But to be fair, that's just how life worked out for me, right? Like, I was always around very insecure men who didn't know how to be men. So I had to stand and rise to the occasion and be the man I didn't know how to be.
Interesting.
And it was very uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable experience through life. But this season of my life has shown me I have met men platonically that are my friends, colleagues, coworkers, and they have given me that space to be soft.
Interesting.
And so I'm learning how to be feminine outside of a relationship. So the guy I'm meant to be with is probably really, really a lot like that character. Very masculine, but they have to own it. They don't demand it. They just are.
Yeah. Like, just let you be, because sometimes you are a little bit like you want to take on the world and like don't want anybody to stand in your way. But then sometimes you need to be like
sat down, be quiet,
nurtured,
hush.
Yes. Foot rub. What can I get for you? Like, how can I nurture you? Like, yes. Mm-hmm.
I genuinely, I think it's so funny because Jordan Peterson talks about the female myth, the fantasy is the beast from Beauty and the Beast. And I think he's right, for me anyway. Like 100%, I want a beast that can be tamed by only me. That recognizes and appreciates my intelligence and also recognizes that I have a temper and sometimes I don't think rationally. And the way to temper me with that is a very strong man who can say, be silent for a second. Not tell me what to think, not tell me what's wrong with me, but just be quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing about the Handmaid's Tale. The reason why this is so relevant to our time right now is we have young women growing up masculine. They do not, and the men growing up very incapable of rising to the occasion and saying, I deserve it this way. I can lead you this way. And we need something as controversial as The Handmaid's Tale in story form to get us talking about this and being like, hey,
Yes.
where's the line? Where do we divide fiction from fact? And what's actually contributing to this? Because surrogacy, I've been approached several times for people because I'm a fertile woman. And they're like, hey, you have a lot of babies. Have you thought about giving away your eggs? That's how it starts in the story.
Yes. Well, also the interesting thing is that I think my disappointment was like I needed revenge, and I didn't get revenge from that story. But now that we're having this conversation, we got resurrection, and that's also good. And so I wasn't totally down on it, but I just really wanted to see Hannah freed and reunited with her parents. Like I really, really wanted to see that. And I wanted to see those I wanted to see those people in Washington, D.C. take the little rings out of the mouth, because as bad as they were suffering in what they were in the Boston area, those ones, when you saw that episode, you were like, oh gosh, that's too much. So I wanted to see a little bit more what did they do, freeing of the handmaids? Yeah.
So there's a new show coming out called The Testaments, and it's all about June's daughter. It's all about Hannah.
Resurrection.
So I didn't want to spoil that till the very end of this.
I love it.
But that is why the book that she wrote, The Testaments, is about Hannah.
Her daughter? Okay.
That's why they didn't show that resolution. It's still happening with Hannah as an adult. And so that's why that didn't happen. But here's where I'm upset. I'm going to tell you what really bugged me. I really hated that Luke and June did not overcome all. I don't like what they did with Luke. He comes across as just this angry, bitter man and mad at June for her choices.
I couldn't blame him for that, though. I was like, okay.
I resent that, though, because,
really? No,
okay, I'm not a fan of June's. We all know this. But here's the thing. She found love where she could to survive. And when it came to Nick, they were trauma bonded. They were forced into things together.
Maybe.
But
she perpetuated from that point. I felt like she perpetuated from that point.
By then I think they were so bonded. I don't think that was the only good thing about Gilead for her. And I think, I guess I relate to her in that realm where you can fall in love with a bad guy, and you can convince yourself that it's good. And I think that's what happened to her. And I understand why Luke couldn't handle that. I get it. But they make him turn into this very cold. The whole point for him was to have his family back together. Now what is he doing it for?
Honestly, I couldn't even blame him, because there were times where I was like, gosh, he's being really nice. Well, I mean, I would be nice to my spouse. If they had gone through that, I would be very nice to them. And what do you need to heal? Or what spaces do you need? I would have totally given her that. But I think I would have mentioned, don't you find it a little concerning that you're in love with a Nazi? I think if we had that conversation way, way sooner. Yeah.
I think that kind of shows that you don't get to decide who you love. I think that love is, true love is unconditional. It's not about who someone is.
So for the next season, because we're running out of time, but so for they're making a whole new series then based off of her other book?
At least that's the word on the streets, right? Whenever I will listen to the different characters talking about, the different actors talking about their characters, the internet buzz, of course, which isn't always reliable, but The Testaments is a real book. It is about Hannah's experience. And I think it's interesting to see if they actually do it on film. I would love to see what happens, because June is not in this story from what I'm told, from my understanding. I did not read them myself, so I can't say.
I think if it's a book, I might just pick up the book before they make the
series.
You should! Then I have to, because I feel like, again, back to that point, I feel like Atwood is something we should study in sociology, because they teach you all these concepts about civilization and society and sociology class. And we had to read a lot of Orwell. And this is totally on caliber. It's totally on par with Orwell. This has so many concepts of freedom, struggle, oppression, femininity, masculine, like directly battling. It should be in college. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. It's one of the reasons why in our household we also watch shows like Scandal, because I like them to talk about what they're seeing. Because I'm like, I want you to think about this for a second. We're talking about government. We're talking about how it runs. We're talking about public perception. We're talking about your vote. You know what I mean? And, you know, I did talk with a man recently who was very traditional and had his views on who should be allowed to vote and why.
Goodness.
Yeah, but we had a really healthy debate about why. And I was able to ask questions on why he thought the way he did. And it got me thinking back to when we actually made sure people were educated before they went into the voting booth. It was not a popularity contest. It was really about the principles and how it affected everyone's view, right? This is, I don't think we should go back to those times. There are a lot of wrong things about those times, but I do think we should bring back the education.
Education is so freeing. It's like, it's such a way to not even escape, but just like transcend all bull.
The respect for the different places. So, like, I think the one thing about Gilead that was good, and believe me, it was hard to find anything, but the one thing that I think was really important is the respect for everyone's role in life is something that if we could take that tiny little piece of that horrendous world and bring it into ours and re-educate our kids, I think we'd have a better time when we had shopping class and home economics and, you know, we had financial literacy taught in our high schools. You know, we had, I would say, a stronger breed of human. And now we have this place in our school system where, not to get on my pulpit, but I've seen it, where I've had kids come to my house to learn how to budget because they don't have that at home.
Oh no, like,
You know?
we're a mess in society. Like, I will not, I don't know what to say about it. We had a whole conversation last time about how we have definitely gone like
I could go on for a year on it.
Like, we have gone off the deep end as far as like what we allow in society. I just don't know that we have I don't know if a Gilead model of respect.
No. That is not what I was saying. Let's not go there. That is not what I meant. What I meant was, I think the part of that, the simplicity of it, the part where they were like, okay, this is my role, this is your role, fine. But it shows us what happens when we go too far, believing that our way is the only way. And I said that at the beginning of our last podcast, and I'll end it this way too, is that the gift of the Handmaid's Tale, the gift of Gilead, is the fact that we have, without having to experience it, a good look at what happens when we force our will on other people.
Isn't that what she intended it for too?
I believe so.
I've heard
do
that.
believe that. I do believe that is probably true. I haven't heard it myself, but I couldn't see why that wouldn't be the point. Because as we're looking at people and all these multifaceted characters, like we're talking about Serena's end, and we're talking about June's end, and her husband's end, and Aunt Lydia's end, and even the reward of Janine's end, where she's free with her daughter, and even that horrible wife that is just like so snotty has a moment of, you know, just compassion and makes sure that little girl doesn't end up in that world and gives her back to the mom. I mean, it's just that hope that came in. It's just so beautiful to see that.
Her name is Charlotte.
Oh, I love that. She's so pretty.
Like, she never gives up on her name. I love that. Yeah.
She's all, no, her name is Charlotte. She's not whatever you named her, Angela. Oops, that's another.
Her name is Charlotte.
Yes. And that's what I love about, so Janine's arc, I think, saved the show for me.
Yeah. Her and Lydia, for me, I was like, okay, this is cool. But other than that, I was like, I have questions.
But that's the other thing, too. Gilead's not gone. We see that. Lydia stays an aunt, somehow redeemed. That's a plot hole I don't understand.
Yeah, now I have to, like, read the book because I felt like I didn't know. I need to do more research on the book and, like, where all this come from, because I didn't know that there was an extra, like, novel or series that follows Hannah. That would be amazing if they made the movie or the series about it, but I got to get the book. Because I feel like unresolved. I did not get closure. Like, where's the closure?
Yeah, and the way they end it with it being the Handmaid's Tale, where she goes back into the house, and it's the beginning of the show, except through her eyes with a tape recorder. So I think I was a little underwhelmed by that ending. That ending was just, I feel like it's been there, done that. I think they could have done a little bit different job with it. But a lot of people are happy with it, so who am I? I'm just one opinion.
I mean, it's got to be hard to end a series. And Elizabeth Moss, didn't she directed like the last couple episodes?
Yeah.
So the directing was fine, and the storytelling, I just felt like was a little off.
I agree. I loved the series. I loved what it brought. I loved the heated conversations and the uncomfortable feelings that I had looking at my own values and the way I lived my life, and how much of that changed watching the show. Not very much, but some of it did, where I'm like, that's kind of, I didn't think about that. But I will say, out of everyone's storyline, I was very disappointed to see the ending for it was Moira. I feel like Moira should have had more. She was my favorite handmaid. I felt she was amazing. To me, she was the point of the whole story because she survived, and she used that survival to help so many other people who had been in her situation and other situations. She held that compassion. She was there for the revolution. She went back to save people. I think the story should have been about Moira.
I mean, she what do they call that? A supporting character? It's a strong supporting character.
Yes.
She really did bring in like that that friend that you have is like
Yes.
like no bullshit.
No bullshit.
Yeah, like that friend. But yeah, so I guess now I'm actually really inspired to know that there's more out there because I didn't get closure. The story will be to be continued.
And I think it was meant to be that way, so I love it.
Maybe
I can't
then.
wait to see. I hope they do continue with Testaments like they had rumored out there for all of us.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited now because through this conversation I've learned that I really came in like gut gypped.
yes, all right.
So
I
there's
love
more.
it.
There's more, and then to be continued.
To be continued.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us in our long conversation about the Handmaid's Tale and getting into stuff with us.
Yeah.
See you on the next one.
And please tell us anything that you use for self-care and what you thought about it.
Yes, in the comments below. Want to hear. All right, everyone. Bye.